I'm Ryan. I'm 30, live in Chicago, and up until a few months ago, I was in a nearly 3-year relationship with Julia, who's 29. We met at a photography class in the city, the kind of random place you attend thinking nothing serious will come from it, and then you meet someone who changes your entire routine. Our connection was instant. We were both sarcastic as hell, loved traveling, couldn't go a week without Thai food, and had the kind of inside jokes that made people around us groan. A year into dating, we moved in together. By the second year, we were looking at places to buy, not just browsing, but actually emailing realtors. Then one night, just a regular Tuesday, no argument, no tension, Julia told me she wanted space. I still care about you, she said, sitting on our couch like we weren't sharing a life together. But I feel like I'm losing myself. I think we should take a step back, just be friends for now. There was no mention of anyone else. She insisted it wasn't about another person, just that she needed freedom to figure out who she really was. That word, freedom, stuck with me. I wasn't controlling. We did our own things, had our own friends. Still, I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I just nodded and said, okay, we'll be friends. So I took her at her word. No texts asking how her day was. No checking if she'd eaten or if she made it home okay. I didn't call or drop by. If we were friends, I was going to be a regular friend, polite, kind, but not emotionally involved. That's when things got weird. The very next morning, she texted me, hey, can you still drop my car off at the mechanic later like you said? I replied, sorry, I can't today. You can probably grab an Uber. We're friends now, remember? She responded with a thumbs up emoji. That was it. I figured that would be the end of it. But then more of those little expectations started popping up, subtle reminders that she was used to me doing things for her. Like I still existed in the same role, just with a different label. I didn't budge. And then came the social shift. We had mutual friends, lots of them, so it wasn't exactly possible to fully avoid each other. A few days later, I got invited to a mutual friend's birthday bar crawl downtown. I showed up solo. So did Julia. She made a beeline toward me when I walked in, probably expecting me to sit by her, buy a round of drinks, laugh at the same old jokes. Instead, I found myself talking to Rachel, someone we both knew but who'd never been at the center of anything before. She was easy to talk to, didn't ask too many questions, and didn't make anything feel weird. Julia noticed. Halfway through the evening, she pulled me aside near the bar and said, you're being weird. You're not usually so distant. I looked at her calm. We're friends now. I'm just acting accordingly. She blinked like I'd spoken a different language. That's when it hit me. She didn't expect me to actually treat her like a friend. She expected a boyfriend without the label. Emotional support, errands, attention, comfort. All the benefits, none of the commitment. I wasn't angry. I wasn't even sad anymore. I just realized what this really was, a reset for her, but a test for me. And I was going to pass it. The weekend after that bar crawl, things escalated. Julia showed up at my place. I wasn't home, but when I got back, there was a sticky note on the kitchen counter in her handwriting. Borrowed your blender. Needed it for smoothies. Also grabbed my yoga mat and hoodie. Hope that's okay. We'll return blenders soon. Smiley face. That note sat there for 5 minutes before I took a deep breath and changed the locks. It wasn't an angry decision. I just realized she still saw my place as partially hers. Like nothing had really changed. That note felt casual, like we were just on a break. But we weren't. She broke up with me. And now, I was living my life accordingly. I texted her later that evening. Hey, just so you know, I updated the locks today. If there's anything else you want to pick up, let me know and I'll leave it with the front desk. The reply didn't come for a few hours. When it did, it wasn't a text. It was a call, 5, actually, followed by a voicemail where she sounded irritated and confused. You didn't even talk to me about this, she said. You're just shutting me out like I'm some stranger. I was honest with you. I didn't lie. I just needed space to figure things out. This feels like punishment. But I wasn't punishing her. I wasn't angry. I just believed her when she said she didn't want to be in the relationship anymore. So I acted like someone who's no longer in one. And the more I did that, the more she seemed unsure about her decision. That same week, I grabbed lunch with Rachel, the friend from the party. We'd been maying a bit since that night, just casual stuff. But in person, she was different. Chill, thoughtful, kind. We didn't talk about Julia. In fact, Rachel never brought her up once. We just talked about art, weird family stories, the city's terrible parking, and where to find the best cinnamon rolls. A few days later, we went to a museum exhibit together. Still casual, still low-key. No drama. No, what is this conversation? I didn't post about it. Didn't mention it to friends. But somehow Julia found out. That night, at around midnight, she texted, "Are you seriously dating Rachel? My friend?" After everything we had, I sat with that message for a while before I replied. "You said we're friends, Julia?" Friends don't get a say in who other friends hang out with. That's what you wanted, remember? There was no reply. Instead, over the next few days, I started hearing things from mutual friends. Julia had been calling around, saying I was revenge dating Rachel to hurt her, that I was playing games to make her jealous. Some of our friends stayed neutral. A few believed her. One friend, Dan, called me and said, "She really thought you were just going to sit still while she went and found herself. You're not wrong for moving on, man. She wanted the cake and to eat it, too." Honestly, it wasn't about revenge. It wasn't even about Rachel. It was about peace. I wasn't going to keep orbiting Julia's life while she decided if I was enough for her someday. I was done being the fallback plan, and she hated that she could feel it. After that message about Rachel, things went quiet for about a week. Then the ripple effect began. Julia wasn't just venting to mutual friends anymore. She was trying to rewrite the whole story, telling people I was cold, that I'd started dating Rachel immediately to get back at her, that I had clearly been waiting to move on. Like I'd had this plan all along. Some people bought it. Others didn't. One friend, Lauren, actually said to me, "She expected you to wait around like a backup drive. It's like she forgot you're a person, not a placeholder." I didn't feel bitter. I wasn't angry. Just tired. I had spent nearly 3 years pouring into something, and when it ended, I respected her decision. But she didn't respect what came next. Then came the final straw. It was a Thursday morning. I was grabbing coffee before a team meeting when I saw her, Julia, standing outside the entrance with 2 cups. Like nothing had changed. Like we were just 2 people starting the day together. She smiled and said, "Thought we could talk?" I looked at the coffee, then at her. "Julia, you can't just show up like this. I'm working." Her face dropped. "You really aren't going to let me in?" "No," I said. "You ended this. I'm just following your lead." I don't think she knew what to say. She stood there for a second, looking genuinely stunned, like it had only just hit her that she'd lost access, not just to me, but to the version of me that used to show up without being asked. That weekend, Rachel and I went out again. Nothing flashy. We walked around Lincoln Park, grabbed tacos from a food truck, and just talked. There were no complications, no unsaid resentments. I didn't feel like I had to guard myself. It was the first time in a long while I felt steady. A few days later, I heard from someone that Julia had deactivated her social media. She wasn't showing up to hangouts anymore. She'd moved back in with her parents in the suburbs. Apparently, she started therapy. And then came one last message from her. It was an email. No subject line. Just a few paragraphs. She wrote, "You really moved on. You didn't even fight for us. I guess I never mattered as much as I thought." I sat with that one for a while. And then, I didn't respond. Because the truth is, she didn't want me. Not really. What she wanted was the comfort of knowing I'd still be there. A constant, a fallback, an emotional safety net while she figured out her next step. She wanted to explore her freedom without losing the benefits of being loved. But I wasn't angry anymore. I didn't hate her. I just finally saw things clearly. I gave her exactly what she asked for. I stepped back, became a friend, respected her space. And in doing that, she had to face the silence she created. Some people think closure comes from long conversations, big scenes, emotional breakdowns. But sometimes, it's just choosing not to go backward, even when the door swings open one last time. Funny how giving someone what they say they want ends up showing them what they actually needed and what they lost. Anyway, that's my story.